G'day, welcome back to Vital Therapies. I'm Ethan, and today I want to provide a short summary on a three-phase system I've boiled down my time practicing that is a plan or is an approach that I use to dealing with patients. And just to name them straight off the cuff is number one, alleviating the immediate discomfort, pain, problems, and just putting out spot fires is another way to put it. Just might be 1, 2, 3 sessions table-based work, and that's just where people begin to say, oh, I'm not feeling so bad. That's the point, right? And then number two, creating a reference point for ground zero. Creating a reference point that is, this is my comfort, this is my comfortable, this is my pain-free state. And they actually have it, they learn that, oh, this is almost like a state of calmness. And some people might already have that, and so they know where to go when they are being treated a lot of the time. They know that, oh, this pain, this discomfort, even when I'm being treated, I can move away from this and come back to my calm state. And then number three is where people really want to invest in themselves, and this is not everyone, and I'll go into talking about this, but number three is when you actually build preventative measures, so the problem they first came with is so much less likely to arise, or in a way they're bulletproofing themselves against that was an issue. I might have suffered it for a lot of part of my life if it was a chronic dysfunctional pain, but now I'm building a resilience towards that where it's not really going to affect me anymore. Like I said, that's not everyone, and I want to go into elaborating on these now. These issues. Not so much issues, the phases. I want to just speak candidly to the camera, and it's not too much of a bother that this is something. I just want to elaborate on some of these experiences that I've had. So, number one, when people have an issue, it's almost the natural human response is that you want to help someone. You want to pull them out of their trauma, out of their suffering. Supernatural response. And that's what I think. That I would have to say the vast majority of allied health practitioners work in that field or work in their field, whatever it might be, and doctors, because they just have an innate care for wanting to help people. And they upskill themselves or they provide themselves with knowledge of how to overcome physical limitations or physical disability, and how the course of a disease or an injury will gradually resolve. So when I've come to working with people initially, it's oftentimes table-based work. I made the original mistake originally. Let's say when I first started practicing, of saying people don't need a lot of table-based work. They need to exercise. They need to stretch. They need to do glute, hip activating exercises to resolve their lower back pain. This was with good intentions, but it was moving past the fact of having compassion and empathy and understanding the value that we have as practitioners to literally put our hands on something that is sore and painful that a lot of the people really want held. That's what I find interesting as an osteopath and as a manual practitioner, is that people almost visit doctors with head pain or neck pain or shoulder pain, wanting that part of their body to be the focus of everything. And then finally, when we put hands on and start to actually move that body part around and need parts of their body and inhibit muscles and just treat and articulate, people are like, God, you're exactly on the spot that I've been complaining about for who knows how long. And that I pushed that to the side early on. And it took me a long time, I think, or maybe not too long, but it took me, I guess, a lot of experience of actually ended up treating people on a table and enough people saying, wow, that feels so much better, to understand the value that is great. Meeting people halfway, even though you might know better that this isn't the preventative measures, that's phase 3, by the way. That's ends up being phase 3. But phase 1 is just, things are all right, let's deal with this issue. And people are like, great, thank you for getting rid of that pain that was in my elbow or my arm. It's now gone. And yeah, a lot of people, that is, a lot of the time, that's just all people want. And maybe some people need. But phase 2 has been almost the most unusual or maybe strange for some people to understand that maybe they don't have a reference point with which to come back to, oh, I can feel calm. I feel fine. I feel at ground zero. I feel that I know how to calm myself down. I know what the idea of, let's say, tranquil is. When I talk to people about this, that, hey, we've taken care of this pain, but as I'm treating you and, you know, providing you even like a heightened discomfort as I treat you, they don't necessarily understand how to calm themselves. And even, you know, part of that for me in my treatments is, can you breathe 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, and even lengthen that out to 5-6 seconds, and endure the discomfort and watch what happens in your body as your body's being treated. That if you're really being able to relax and endure, or let's say embrace the treatment that's occurring, watch how your body naturally starts to relieve itself of tensions, of pain, and change its state. And it's almost like a meditative philosophical idea, to be honest, that people sometimes it's hard for them to comprehend, but once they do, they're like, wow, yeah, I really can access a different state where I can just be calm in the face of this, and it doesn't bother me the same way it used to. It's not too much of an issue. Now, that is okay, but when you've got the same issue cropping up because of old patterns, I'm about to talk about stage 3 or phase 3. Phase 3 is building preventative measures. That's where you start to rewire the body. That's where you start to change movement patterns. You start to influence posture. You start to build muscle where there might not have been some before. You start to really make a difference to what your body was like previously. You are, you are altering your body at that point. That's an investment. That's I'm not sure what place you need to go as a person and how to describe that in order to want to embrace phase 3, and I'm going to influence my body to change how it moves, how I move, how I exercise, how I go about my daily activities. But that's where things really change. That's what I've noticed. That's a big investment. That's the off the table work. That's where I previously, when I first started practicing, thought that's what's important. If the whole world were to exercise their whole life, we wouldn't have half the amount of diseases. I mean, and that's obviously, there's a lot of merit to that, but that's just not reality, and nor should it be really. It's fine. That's just where we're at, and some people prioritize so much else in their life as to what brings them joy and meaning that, I mean, some people will say, I don't care that I don't exercise. It was just never a massive facet of my life, and power to them. But really the ones who build preventative measures, it might not even be exercise sometimes, it might just be management solutions. Patient who I've had come in today originally presented to me with sacrococcygeal sprain, SIJ discomfort, then transient patellar tendonitis. So he had some spot fires that were quickly resolved, and he really already has like a sense of ground zero, so he's already covered phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 3 has been adjusting his daily and preventative stretch plan, practice, so that he knows or he is already has a method of treating himself when the need arises. Perfect example was 3 days ago. He mentioned I woke up, I had really bad lower back pain, not the worst, but my SIJ discomfort came back, so sacroiliac joint, part of where the pelvis meets the spine, was really sore. And the exercise or the stretch regime that we formed for him here, and we ran through with him and tweaked it so he knew where to feel the stretches and how to do them. He said he just did that a couple times through the day, resolved it over the course of 12 hours. There are people that will endure an issue like that for weeks, if not months. And he had a strategy with which to resolve it within the same day. Like, speaks for itself is how important that can be. Now, don't get me wrong, it takes discipline and it takes a regular practice, an investment in yourself to be like, this is something important. I know it's not really engaging all the time or something I necessarily want to do, but I feel that the people who have that discipline and attitude towards their bodies, being like, I want to be able to walk around when I'm 90 or even get to 100 and be physically capable, they're the ones who have like a natural aptitude for those practices, for those measures. Now this last part is more of a difficult circumstance, I think, or situation that I feel like presents itself to practitioners, where people are dealing with parts of their life where they're not going to be involved in the process or the three-phase plan that I outlined. They are coming to you, and it's almost like they don't quite know why. They know that you're someone who wants to help them, who has good intentions, who is equipped to help people physically with whatever issues they have, but they're not really going to be involved with the process in the way that you believe they should be. They're not really going to be quite present for it. And I have to admit, it can be challenging. It can be challenging. That's the funny part about this, is I just wanted to present the human component of being a practitioner here, where it's tough dealing with people when you have one way of going about their situation and they are operating in a completely different way, and you're trying to meet them halfway and say, look, I've got every intention of improving the situation for you if you only just worked with me on this. And that's not what's important for them at that moment. And I think the skill that you start to, or maybe is worth developing as a practitioner in those circumstances, is empathy, is compassion and empathy. That you have good intentions for that person, and that is what is navigating you through their treatments and interacting with them. But at the end of the day, if that person, you want to lead a horse to water, but they don't want to drink, then they don't want to drink, and that's all right. That's all right. It's just tough, I guess, when you're actually living it at moments, and all you can do is try to be as transparent with them, that your intentions are good, but it's tough, and I guess that's all there is to say. I guess I've just wanted to say it's tough, and that's all right though. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and looking forward to making some more of these long form. I'll still throw some shorter clips out there for anything for the internet algorithms to present themselves, and maybe help promote some of this content. So I'd love to get it out there, and I'd love to have more interactions with fellow clinicians and practitioners as well.